Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gaynor.
Moff's bloke Aidan.
I'm Sophie.
And today we're doing oil rigs caught in monster waves. So I'm guessing this is another one of the weather ones we like, which is Mother Nature and what the earth bestows upon us.
Mm.
Have you ever been caught up in a monster wave? Like whilst you're in like a boat or something?
You ever been on a cruise?
No.
I thought you have.
No, I've not. I wanted
I
to
can
go
see
on
you
one.
on a
Didn't Dad
cruise.
take you on a cruise?
No. We were
Well,
gonna,
that was a different one.
I was going to say, that was a different line.
we were going to go on a cruise for his 50th, but it just wasn't.
Yeah.
I swear he said he was going to go to like Argentina on a cruise or something.
Yeah, we were, but cruises are long, so we decided we'll try a small one, sort of like just 5-6 days, and see if we like it, and then go on a bigger one.
Yeah.
How long would it be? Like, would you be on the cruise?
They normally are at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you can do them like all around, like, I don't know, where can you do them around? Like they do.
You can do them everywhere. So a lot of them in the UK, you would go out of like Southampton, or you would fly to another country and get on.
Oh, and go from there.
The main one's normally Portugal, isn't it?
No.
Where you fly from?
Yeah. Well, you.
Where you set sail from.
Yeah. I thought so.
Here, I think it's Southampton, or there's some.
No, I know, but like in Europe, I think it's Portugal.
There are a lot of cruise ships in Portugal.
I might be wrong.
It depends where you're going.
I just thought it was the best access for every country and stuff.
Yeah. But
'Cause
no,
someone
I've not been on one, but I would like to try it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, like, in the comments of the one we did about, the Navy sea burial, and we mentioned about, like, cruise ships and, like, if you died on there, like, what would happen to your body? And, like, they get put in, like, a freezer.
They put them in your freezer until they go to a port.
Brought home.
Yeah.
Oh,
So at
really?
least you have to be buried at sea if you know, if anything happened.
To be frozen.
Yeah. Like Elsa.
Yeah.
From massive 50-foot waves crashing into a Norwegian oil rig deep in the North Sea, and a floating platform in the Gulf of Mexico that got caught in a hurricane-force storm, to a catastrophic failure in the Persian Gulf that saw $40 million sink in seconds, and a 15,000-ton vessel bouncing in colossal waves off the coast of Scotland. Here are 7 oil rigs and offshore platforms caught in monster waves. The North Sea is a shared body of water between the UK, the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, France, and Germany. As of 2018, it's home to the most active offshore oil rigs in the world, with 184 in operation. The Gulf of Mexico comes in second with 175. Monster waves, also known as rogue waves, are no joke. They can damage even the largest of oil rigs and cargo ships. The North Sea also has some of the biggest rogue waves in the world. Just ask these guys on board a Norwegian oil rig in October of 2020.
Jeg har det på film. Jeg har det på film.
Oh, that makes me feel sick when it's going down.
Åh, fan alltså. Åh, fy fan.
Are they on a ship?
I thought they were on the oil
On
rig.
the oil rig.
Does an oil rig move? Or is
No,
that just the water?
Yeah, it's just the water.
That's crazy.
Rogue waves used to be a thing of myth. Sailors and rig workers would tell stories of monster 50-foot waves crashing into their vessels. Technology caught up, and we began tracking these waves with digital tools. Still, rogue waves are extremely rare. Do you think the ones in this video met the criteria? Let us know in the comments. If you left Kristiansand, Norway, and ventured about 81 miles into the Norwegian Sea, you'd stumble upon the Njord oil field. There, you'd find a massive floating oil platform called Njord A. The Njord oil field was discovered in 1986. Drilling plans were approved in 1995, and production started in 1997. From then until 2016, the Njord oil field produced 167 million barrels of oil and 11 billion cubic meters of gas. The waves can get pretty crazy in the Njord field. Mother Nature has a funny way of combining scenic beauty with raw power. In February of 2023, one rig worker recognized that combination. She pulled out her phone and recorded the Norwegian waves in all their glory.
Wow. Jeez, can you imagine being there and just seeing that?
Does that scare you, like massive amount of water?
It does, because for that you don't know whether it's going to stay that big or the next few that are going to come are going to go over the
That's the thing.
the top of the oil rig, and then basically you're screwed, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're just like sitting ducks.
How do they build oil rigs?
I was thinking that, would they have to like do it to the bottom of the sea? Because it said floating oil rig before.
Yeah, it did say floating, didn't it? But
Because I thought they were like built maybe to the bottom of the ocean, like more of like a tunnel kind of thing. Like,
I'm not actually sure how they build them.
I would have just thought pillars, like 4 pillars or something to the bottom.
But Darren's job was to ship oil rigs, so he would move an oil rig from one destination to.
Unless it's used by, like, I highly doubt it, but like something similar to like an anchor.
I know that when he did large oversized cargo, one of them was what do you call those windmill type things?
the things for power.
Yeah,
Wind turbines.
wind turbines. He was shipping wind turbines, and they had to actually build a road to get to where they were going to.
Really?
Yeah. Some of the stories he tells me are interesting.
Oh God, yeah, I know, right? He tells every story. He's got a new story every day about something that happened 20 years ago.
But most of them are just like, yeah, that's great, Darren. Good job. But other ones are like really interesting. How they have to, they have to get this from here to here, but there's no road.
How do you do that?
So they have to build a road for the cargo to go up there. It was really interesting.
Crazy.
Footage like this really puts into perspective how brave you have to be to work on one of these rigs. The Njord was only supposed to last until 2013, but new oil discoveries near the field extended the rig's life. Modifications made between 2016 and 2022 will allow the vessel to continue production until 2040.
Wow.
Life on the ocean isn't easy. Shift times and patterns differ from rig to rig. According to FutureLink, a payroll compliance company, rig workers can spend 2 to 3 weeks on the rig and another 2 to 3 weeks off the rig. Back in early 2017, the crew on board the Judy and Joanne oil rig in the North Sea was preparing to come home after completing their shift. They were only 150 miles off the coast of Aberdeen, Scotland, when a powerful storm cut their plans short.
Alles auf das weiterbleiben morgen.
Wow.
The Judy and Joanne platforms stand in 246 feet and 259 feet of water, respectively. The weather can get pretty crazy in the North Sea. Just look at how those 50-foot waves come up to the catwalk. Workers come and go from Judy and Joanne via helicopter. Unfortunately, this crew got stranded when the storm made flying extremely unsafe. They spent 3 extra days on the rig waiting for helicopters to arrive. Hopefully, they got good overtime pay.
What a name, Judy and Joanne.
Yeah.
The Borgland Dolphin is what's called a semi-submersible platform. They're stationed in the North Sea, about 145 miles off the coast of Scotland. It's basically a floating oil rig. When drilling in waters deeper than 1,700 feet, you can't build a stabilized platform. Instead, oil companies rely on
That's what I was going to say before.
Yeah.
I was like, you could have pillars to the bottom, but if it's really deep, that's just not going to happen, is it?
So obviously they're only placed where it's deep enough that
But I don't know how it works, no.
Do they lift the whole thing and like just move? Do you know what I mean? Move it somewhere else.
Right, you get one side, I'll get the other side. to me. Oh, imagine.
Imagine that.
No, God, it would just be used by like I wouldn't know how it's.
I'm guessing they're built there, aren't they?
Well, I doubt it. No.
Why not?
But then how like? Do you know what I mean? How does it get dropped off then?
Because that's what Dad he shipped oil rigs.
We need to ask him and find out because I don't like.
Because I want to know how it floats. It's probably like they probably use something similar to how they make
like
a boat.
I'm gonna say like
yeah,
a boat
but
floats.
like a boat would float away. It wouldn't just stay in the same place.
It doesn't bob around, does it?
I that's what I said before, but I just don't know if anchors are keeping that in place. Look how big it is.
I know. Maybe 25 anchors?
We don't know.
No,
Someone in the comments will have to let us know on that one. We're too clueless for that.
Floating platforms supported by giant pontoons. Since the operating deck is high above sea level, it's usually pretty stable. But when a storm moves in and the waves pick up, the entire rig can start bobbing around. If you're prone to seasickness, rig work probably isn't the best career path for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it does look like there are loads of anchors in there.
If it just gets a massive one and like topples over.
I'm thinking that's what one of them's going to be like that.
Yeah, the water might go over it, but I don't think there's any way the oil rig will fall over. There's no way the oil rig topples over.
You don't think that a massive wave's going to come and smash it in half and it's just going to topple?
No. If the wave comes, it will just splash over it or get it all wet, and like wave could go over it and then end up having water on the oil rig.
If the wave lands on top of it, it could smash it, couldn't it?
I think it's built a bit too strong for that to happen. I think it's made for that not to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they'll be aware of stuff like that could happen, so they'd make it so it doesn't.
You would hope so.
Let's hope so.
You're looking at a 15,000-ton structure bouncing around like a bath toy. According to James, our cameraman, the storm struck on January 10th. Thankfully, they knew the storm was coming and could prepare. James kept recording as massive 40 to 50-foot waves crashed into the Dolphin. To put that into perspective, that'd be like standing next to the Hollywood sign in California. Each letter is 50 feet tall.
Wow.
When drilling platforms reach the end of their life, they're dragged via tugboats to scrapyards all around the world. On August 7th of 2016, one such rig, called the Transocean Winner, was on its way from Norway to Malta when it got caught in some rough conditions. It was the worst summer storm the region had seen in years. The wind blew upwards of 40 knots, and 30-foot waves smashed into the rig and tugboat. The Winner broke free just as they left the North Sea. The 33-year-old 17,000-ton vessel floated towards the Scottish island of Lewis, while the tugboat radioed the Coast Guard for help. But how do you reel in a runaway oil rig? Easy, you don't. The Winner was painted bright orange. Sure, it had rusted over the years, but you could still spot it from miles and miles away. But the storm was like a pitch-black veil. Our tugboat could hardly see past its bow. They'd never spot the bright orange rig floating freely in the North Sea. The radar data painted a silly picture. It looked like the tugboat was retracing its steps to find something it had misplaced. Of course, that something was a massive oil rig. You might be wondering why they couldn't just track the Winner through radar. When rigs like that embark on their end-of-life journey, they usually turn off their tracking systems. They never saw it again. Until the Winner ran aground on the Scottish island of Lewis. Its landing spot couldn't have been more ironic. The Winner was on her way to the grave. After it broke free, it washed up next to a cemetery. According to the BBC, no more than 50 liters of diesel fuel spilled into the water. They weren't taking any more towing risks this time. Instead, they loaded the Winner onto a heavy offshore transport vehicle called the Hawk. From there, the Hawk carried the oil rig to Malta, where it was salvaged for parts. Finally, the Winner was transported to a Turkish scrapyard, its final resting place.
Mad, right?
That's quite cool.
Yeah.
We began drilling for oil in the Gulf of Mexico in 1942. Since then, about 6,000 oil and gas structures have been built off the Gulf Coast. Some stand in only 10 feet of water. Others are much deeper, at about 10,000 feet. Today, 3,200 active oil structures exist in the Gulf of Mexico, including all the deep-sea rigs. Back in 2018, one of those deep-water semi-submersible structures got caught in a rough storm. A rig worker braved the lower catwalks to record as massive waves crashed into the vessel. The waves kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. At one point, mist from the crash gets all over our cameraman's lens. Props to him though, because I definitely wouldn't have been standing there. Operating in the Gulf of Mexico is a challenging task. Hurricane season sends waves like this crashing into these rigs all the time. According to the NOIA, offshore rigs are built to withstand gale force winds and severe weather. Every facility built after 1988 was designed to withstand 100-year storms. That is, freak storms that have a 1% chance of happening. "2013 was a tough year for the Iranian oil industry. U.S. sanctions aimed at deterring the Iranian nuclear program cut sales by 40%. The oil minister said income was down 45% before China swooped in and saved the day. Then, in early February, the industry suffered another massive setback. The Pars Oil and Gas Company had spent the last 30 months building a brand new $40 million oil rig. It was finally ready to launch in the South Pars gas field in the Persian Gulf. Then, disaster struck. Thankfully, everyone involved walked away unharmed.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Wow.
What, did it just sink?
Yeah.
It took 30 months to build and about 30 seconds to sink. You're watching about 4 million pounds of steel and oil drilling equipment sink about 260 feet below the surface. We're not totally sure what went wrong. According to Time magazine, the details are still fuzzy. What's worse is the rig never got to drill for any oil. They were literally installing it when a crane allegedly broke and the whole thing started to sink. The workers on board got stuck on the catwalks. It was way too high and dangerous to jump. All they could do is ride the rig to its grave. Perhaps what's most incredible about this whole ordeal is how everybody survived without injury.
Wow.
I guess they had a little luck on their side after all. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another one just like it, then be sure to click the link on screen.
Well, yeah, you've got to be pretty brave to work on one of them, don't you?
Yeah.
But I have no idea how that last one's happened.
No.
Just started sinking after, what, like a crane
Yeah,
broke down
crane
or something?
broken, so... Yeah, it's crazy.
Wonder how much oil rig workers get paid. I hope they get paid a lot, like, for such a dangerous job.
They do get paid quite a lot because Darren's dad went to work in Aberdeen when they were kids. I think he might have been on an oil rig.
Ah.
But I do know, I had wasn't a friend, it was a family member who her husband went to work on the oil rigs and he was away all the time. They had like children, but he was never home. He came home for about 3 weeks every 6 months or something.
Wow.
So it must be worth doing it.
Yeah. I'd expect it.
Yeah, to be away from home for so long.
Yeah, well that's the thing, it's not just the fact it's dangerous, like you're away a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, it's blooming freezing.
Yeah, especially in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button for us and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.